Well, hello and welcome to another Alpha Anywhere demo and Q&A webcast. This one is for Wednesday, August 8th, 2018. My name is Dave McCormick. I'm VP of Product Management here at Alpha Software, and I'm pleased to present Dion McCormick, no relation, who is our lead solutions engineer. Today, Dion will be going over API usage in Alpha Anywhere. We may have a special guest if he joins us to talk about some Power BI stuff. And also Sarah Mitchell has joined us, and she'll be showing off some of the work that she has done as well using APIs. So let's get started. Dion, I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter.
Excellent.
And I'll let you know when I can see your screen. Oh, there it is.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us this week. I think I'll have a little better network connection, but you will be the judge and let
Excellent.
me know. Anyway, we want to say thank you very much for taking your time to join with us. We have this is going to be an action-packed day today. A lot of things to cover. We have a lot of pieces we want to show you and things we've been working on, and really start opening up the whole web API stuff and really showing from a business case standpoint how you can have dramatic impacts to your projects, to your clients' projects, to doing things that you never thought you could do, and really take it to the next level. So we're very, very excited about that. My name is Dion McCormick, as Dave mentioned. We also have Sarah online, which I'm very excited about, and we're going to go ahead and get started here.
And we do have another, if you want to do the introduction to the.
Yeah. Also joining us, a special guest today is a gentleman by the name of Eric WittBold, and I'll do a little bit of further introduction in a few minutes, but I need to do a little setups there. But Eric, hey, thanks for joining us.
Great.
Absolutely, Dion. Thank you for having us. Pleasure to meet everybody.
Excellent. Okay, so a couple house cleaning things. First, we want to give you an urgent update. In the latest production release build, there was a issue if you were using image upload in a grid or UX. There was a issue on the server side, so there's a hot fix. It's really easy to install. So we want to just give anybody a heads up that if you have used the latest version, you definitely want to do the hot fix, and it fixes it right away. I've gone through, tested it, done it, and it works really, really well. So just kind of a heads up. Wanted to make you aware of it if you weren't already aware of it. But make sure you spend a little time double checking. If you're using image upload, the action JavaScript, you definitely want to try that, get that updated on your server. And oh, by the way, it has to be with this version. So it's the one that was released on the 23rd of July. So it's that combination. And again, the fix goes in very quickly and very simply, and it works great. Fixes the problem once and for all. Secondly, wanted to let you know that we have our fabulous DevCon 2018, even sooner, another week. It's coming up really soon. The venue is beautiful. It's really excited. We're going to be there before you know it. So go ahead and go to alphasoftware.com/DevCon 2018 and check it out. You'll see our agenda. You can register, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be a phenomenal event with an enormous amount of knowledge, information, and just really productive. We've got so many things that are in the cooker and things that are being worked on, and they'll be released a little later this year. And this is a great avenue to have everything available for you and that you're on top of these pieces there. So definitely do check that out. So with that, Dave, I want to go ahead and, as we've been talking about, the year or half year of the API, and we've started out by going through and talking about a lot of our capabilities. We started out talking about the industry, what was going on with that. Talk a bit last week about the consume and publish and some of the other elements there. Dave and Chris helped me out. We also went ahead last week and started actually showing how you could use some different tools, Postman, et cetera, to exercise web APIs, and then using the curl to Xbasic Genie, bring that into your solutions. And we're going to build on that this week, but this week we're going to focus more about two elements. One is Transforms API, so we're going to dip into Transform a little bit, and then secondly, also talk about the ability to generate APIs. I have a first demonstration of how you can do that and go through that to lay the groundwork for those pieces there. So let me run down here to here. This is where so one of the key things that APIs enable is a whole new generation of the ability to use multiple different tools together in a very nicely coupled methodology. And I'm going to introduce you again to Eric again in a moment here, but a little background is I have a couple clients that had a requirement for some extensive business intelligence capability, meaning they were generating a huge amount of data in their systems. They were using alpha reports and charts and other things along those lines. And we're actually going to show you a little bit more about that in a few minutes with Sarah. But what they found out was that there was a certain amount of flexibility that they were missing. And specifically, what they wanted to be able to do was to provide their end users the ability for them to create reports and dashboards without having to tie up essentially alpha resources. So again, alpha makes it very easy for you to build and generate reports and dashboards. They're really straightforward to do. But if you have a situation where you want to have someone who's non-technical be involved with that process and be able to change it, modify it, and do a bunch of other things like that, then there's certain kind of restrictions. You just kind of, your flexibility is not there to do it. So I did a search of a number of them. There's a number of big industry players out there, some that are insanely expensive, with very large capabilities and I came across a very, very cool tool called ClicData. And it's a system, an online business intelligence tool. And I'm not doing it justice, and that's why I have Eric with me for this here. But what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about that. In this case, it was great because once we put it in place, they were able to make rapid changes to their dashboards and to their to the reports, et cetera, in a controlled manner that was nicely, tightly integrated with all the alpha capabilities that was in their system. It worked out great, and I have 2 different clients that are doing it. It's really exciting there. But we're going to talk, after I do a little introduction, I want to show you a demonstration of Transform and ClicData working together, how you can take data that's being collected in Transform and actually use ClicData to do business intelligence on it. I'm also going to show you how you can also build your own sort of source of data using AlphaWare Anywhere along with ClicData. And along with that, we're going to start introducing you how you publish an API and kind of tie in some of the stuff we talked about last week. But first, I'd like to take a few moments to introduce Eric. I've been working with Eric for some time now. He's an incredible supportive person. He helped me get involved and got all the resources I need, and really was a phenomenal guy. So what I'd like to do is actually, I want to change the presenter over to Eric, and Eric just wants to do a quick high-level introduction of ClicData to give you the presence. Then we're going to go into the demonstrations, and then I'm going to bring Eric back on for more deep dive questions that you may have on that. So Eric, I'm going to go ahead and change you and make you the presenter. Can I do that?
Thank you, Dion.
I think I can I? Where is...
Here, I've gone ahead and done that. You should see dialog box.
You need to talk to someone who's competent to get these things done. And that's that person has the name McCormick, but not necessarily the first name of Dion. So it's
it actually threw me off this morning when the emails were coming across, gentlemen. I'm like, have I been calling Dion the wrong name all this time? And it's actually David. I'm like, wow.
I know.
All right, but well, thank you for the nice introduction.
Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so thank you very much for the introduction. Like Dion had said, that we've been working together for quite a while now, just getting all of the data analytics and data visualization, BI tool integrated with each other, and we've made major headway. But ClicData is basically a business analytic and reporting platform, data visualization. We've been around for about 8 years, a little longer than that, but the first 2 are purely developmental stage. We originally came in due to top pharmaceutical companies. They had obviously a lot of big data and needed help visualizing all of that to make sure everybody was on the same page at all times. Like he had mentioned, let me see here if I can slide here. Basically, ClicData is able to take virtually any data from any data source and help you join it, merge it, and basically put it all in one nice window pane of glass for you to actually analyze and report on it, hold your meetings, etc. We basically turn all of your spreadsheets, all of your data into actionable items. So everybody on here, I'm sure, has walked into meetings where everybody's got Excel spreadsheets that they've spent hours and hours building upon and trying to conduct a meeting on it, and everybody's talking about different numbers, et cetera. We make sure that we're taking the data directly from the data source so that everybody is speaking about the same numbers, so you're able to run your business much more proactively rather than reactively, which is where the true return on investment comes in. We always talk about man hours and the salaries, et cetera, that's spent on doing the data side of running a business, but it truly comes in to more of effect when you start thinking thinking about the return on investment when you're able to be proactive and you're not measuring your metrics from the previous month or before and then trying to play catch up. We're able to keep it up to the minute so that you guys are understanding exactly what's going on with all divisions of your business. I'm just going to go through a couple of slides here quick. I'll keep it quick for you, Dion. I know that you said one slide. I've got a couple of them. I won't go over them all. But like you said, we're able to integrate into all of them, all different data sources. We have unlimited API connectivity, over 150, 200 different native connectors. And I'll send this slide deck over to Dion as well so that he can send it out with the recording, just for anybody that has it. And that way you guys have our contact information and Dion for any further questions. But so here's a couple of quick examples of dashboards when Dion kicks back over to me. I will go over a couple of cool ones. This is kind of more out of the box stuff that we have examples on our website. I pulled out some pretty cool ones that we've done for fun and other clients to kind of show you guys what the capabilities are on the true business data analytics side, the non-technical side, and kind of just for some kicks and giggles and some fun stuff. Here's, for instance, here's some of the logos that we do work with, and I'll tell you what, for as big as some of these logos are, they are very technologically challenged, so they lean on folks like Dion and ClicData to go basically build everything out for them. This is a big one. The impact differentiators is basically ClicData is an all-in-one solution with being able to connect to all of your third-party vendors or your data sources, et cetera. We're able to extensively help you manage your data. We're able to cleanse it, join it, merge it, do transformations, calculated columns, et cetera, to be able to make sure that all of your data or any key performance indicator that you would like to see, we have that visualized for you.
Could you go back one? Could you go back real quick? I want everybody to look at that last bullet. This was one of the key things that brought me to ClicData in terms of my search. Was ClicData has a very positive outlook on life, meaning especially for our audience who are developers who are developing for end clients and other pieces, ClicData has plans that allow you to do white labeling and embeddability. So therefore, you can make it integrate into your Alpha. And I'm going to show a demonstration of that today. And that's really powerful because you're not forced to, the user doesn't even know they're using ClicData in certain situations. So that was a really powerful thing I wanted to highlight.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And that's a huge key because some of our competitors will offer white label solutions. It's not a true OEM product. We've worked very hard between my CEO, my CTO, my VP of sales, and I, between channel partners and everything that we've done in past lives, being able to truly white label and embed our solution to where it looks like your proprietary software was huge for us. So even when email notifications come from the ClicData portal, if you guys have it white labeled, everything looks and feels like it's coming from your business, and you remove all that as ClicData. If that's what you guys wish, which we do encourage it, we obviously don't mind if you say powered by ClicData or something cool like that, but we leave it up to you because it's your data, your business. We want you guys to run it and be able to make all of the decisions on your side.
Very powerful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to bring back Eric because I do want him to show some of the cooler dashboards because I am obviously graphically challenged. We all know that. There's no secret on that. So Dave, if you go ahead and bring it back, I want to dive right in and show an example of how I'm going to use, in a matter of minutes, I'm going to, let's go show my screen. I'm going to show how we can connect Transform and ClicData. So I'm going to jump into my environment. And we're going to be doing both Transform and Alpha. So first, I'm going to go into the Transform environment. So this isn't Transform Tuesdays, but hey, we're catching up because we didn't have Transforms Tuesdays this week. So you owe me one, Dave. Okay, so I've got this great form here called the oil form, and it's for an oil field collection data here. And you can see when I show the form here, it's very simple. We're just doing some meter reading, oil tank level, interlocks, etc., signature. So think of someone out in the field doing that. And I was able to build this build this in a matter of a few minutes here. And I have a fully running, actually, let me go ahead and open, let me show it actually running on my phone here so we can actually have a good time here. Let's go to Transform. Bear with me. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show this is coming up. If I can get my system there, come on, let's go. Almost there. There we go. Should just screen mirror. Sorry, should have set that up. Bad Dion there. It's going so smooth too. So, you know what? I'll switch off. I just installed that one, so we'll go back here real quick. Here we go. Air server. That's my backup.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, always have that there. Oh, login expires in 7 minutes. I might as well do that real quick. Okay, so we should have air server up and running. Good. Okay, I'll go ahead and display my, there we go. I know what's going on. Bear with me, everybody. Really sorry about that. There we go. It's connecting. Might have to be on the same Wi-Fi there. So I've got that, and just while I'm booting up this other thing here, I'll refresh. I'll select my oil form. Okay, and I've got my oil form, and you'll notice I have a couple oil forms I've already collected. Actually, one of them I've already collected here, and I'm going to go ahead and show my screen here. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go into my transform. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to add a new oil form so we have 2 pieces of data. I'm going to put in my meter reading. Again, took a matter of minutes to put this together. I'm going to get the location for it. There we go. Good location. There's the Texas signature. Good to go. I can also collect sub-second data. So I'm going to go ahead and click done. Or I'm going to click upload that form. And I'm going to create one other form because I want to have some good data. Oops, what's going on here? Oh, I need to confirm login. Okay, let me do this real quick. Let's go ahead and confirm my login here. Don't slow down and see my password, everybody.
Playing it back.
I know, and like there's a security breach. Okay, so I got my oil phone. There we go. Let's upload that. And we're good to go. And you know what? I want to go ahead and if you guys will be kind and let me go ahead and create another one here. That way we have some interesting information in there. And go here and get the location. Takes a little seconds, get a little more accuracy here. Okay, and good to go. Okay. And we'll go ahead and save and upload the form. Okay, so I've gone ahead and, so again, the time I want to do is I have all this data, but now I want to be able to visualize it. So we're done with that. So I'll go ahead and get out of here. And we'll go ahead and go in here. And if I do a refresh, you're going to see now I have 3 submitted forms with the different data that's associated with that. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to start visualizing this information. And that's where ClicData comes in. So ClicData is a fully web-enabled system. Again, as we've talked about, you can be able to white label it in there. So let me go ahead and get here. Come on here. Teach me not to. Okay, so I'm in ClicData here. And Eric can answer more about this, but the core concept behind it is that you have data, which are your data sources here. Then you have dashboards, which then present that data. So you can set up, and then there's tons of other features and capabilities built into the solution. So the first step we need to do is connect our data. So one of the powerful things about, really powerful things is the following, is that ClicData supports like unreal amount of connection. You can get data from Amazon S3, Constant Contact, Box, the Basecamp's out of there, but FTP, you name it, large things like SQL Server. Now, I could tie directly to a database, but in our case, for instance, with the Alpha Transform, we use an API. We don't let you actually see the database, and that's a good practice because you may want to change the database. You can also go to all these different forms here. So what I've done is I've created a connector. And let's go ahead and go here, and I'm going to look at the properties here. Okay, so the idea is for the different types of data, and these are like connection strings. The way to think about it is our heavy-duty connection strings. So in this case, this is called a web service. So the query for the web service is that we have an endpoint that's provided by Alpha, which is standardized. We then also have a command called get form data array for form ID. So this is all out of our API documentation. And you'll notice at the end of it, I'm pointing to oil form, which is the particular form I want to do. So basically all I have to do is put in that API there. Now there's one other thing I need to do, and let me text this to make sure it works okay, is that Alpha's transform is a secure API, meaning that we need to give it an API key that you generate in Alpha. So when you're in Alpha, you can go here, go to the API keys and create API keys for your system here. And you can get that API key and good to go. So that's what allows you to securely access your data within the system. So when I'm in here, I go ahead and go to headers and I put in the API key and I put in that API key there. That way, when ClicData calls this endpoint, it puts in that secure ID. Thus, we can reject anybody who shouldn't be getting access to our data. Now, once we've done that, the system automatically calls Alpha. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. I want to show you the process for how that works. So let me do this real quick. Bear with me as I go through this. I want to just kind of show you how that process works, show you how fast it is. What's nice is once you've done it once, you can go ahead and you can go in and within a matter of a few minutes, copy and reuse stuff right there. So let's copy that. And we'll go right here. There's a couple more mechanics in this week, so bear with me as I go through this here. Go to my header, get my API key, select all, copy it. Okay, so you can see that this is basically a URL. That's the URL there to get that information from the oil form. I've just broken it into different pieces here. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and I'm going to create a new, let's create a new data source. I can select there. I'm going to go ahead and I've already created Alpha Transform. And so it's just going to put in this base URL there, but you'll notice the endpoint doesn't exist. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to grab that endpoint. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to put that endpoint in there. Now I'm going to go to headers because it's asking for the security. So I'm going to grab my security key. And again, don't get any ideas. It gets changed after this webinar. So I know you sneaky guys out there. Okay, so I'm going to go in here and go API key. There. Let's test this. Okay, this says it's able to, ClicData is able to do it. I click next. Now watch what happens when I click next. It calls Alpha and says, oh, okay, here is the web API result. So you'll see there's a root piece of data and then this information called result. So the root data is things like, are there any errors, what time, record count, et cetera. It's sort of metadata. Well, I really don't need that. What I need is the result, which is the actual data. So now if I click in there, you'll notice that oh, here, check this out. Meter reading, water tank level, oil tank level, interlocks. So again, it's pulling that data in here, including a signature SVG and a primary key. If I go back to Alpha Transform, go to my designer, when I built my fields, you'll notice that I used the field name right here, and that's what's being delivered. It's using that field name information here. So when you build your form, you put in your field levels so that when I go into ClicData, now it knows those automatically. I can say next, and I'll call this oil form 2, and next. Now here's the cool thing. You can set it up so that ClicData automatically refreshes this daily, hourly. There is also a full API and automation that allows you to tell it when to do it. You can actually even use webhooks. You can use Zapier to do this. So what's nice is once you get it set up, ClicData will take care of making sure to pull that data on an ongoing basis so your dashboards always have the most important information there. I'm not going to add a schedule, but I'm going to click close. So now I have oil form 2 here. I click on here, here's the data. So if I go in and add a new record, all I have to do on here is click refresh, and you can say reload. And what it does is it goes out, grabs all that data and brings it in. You could also do refresh and do what's called append, where it's only going to find new data, and that's much more efficient. Or you can do refresh and say do recreate in case you've added some fields and you want to add that field, and there it's going to redefine all that. Pretty cool stuff here. Oh, by the way, I wanted to show you this while I was out there. Let's transfer, let's see, air server. I wanted to show you something cool. This will build on what we've discussed before. wanted to show you one other thing that was kind of neat, that when I set up this, I set up a Zapier integration. Oh, I might not be able to show it because this thing's taking its time. I'll come back later. Anyway, I just got a text message from Zapier saying I created a new oil form. Pretty neat stuff there. Okay, so this is my setup work. Now, once I have this, I have a nice tight integration with my thing. So ClicData now knows how to go get that data and also the form of that data. So I'm going to brush on this really quickly, but now I can go in and create my dashboard. So I can go into my dashboard here. I'm going to create a new dashboard, and I'm going to call this Oil Form 2. They've got all these beautiful different domains. It's not only showing the data, but showing it beautifully, which this does an amazing job on. And you can tailor all the CSS, etc. So here's my basic one. So I'm going to grab here and I'm going to take over here. As you can see, much like Alpha, they have a whole bunch of different things: gauges for KPIs, maps and diagrams that you're able to do, date selectors. And this is all like, you can set it up so like you can have like a drop down with a list of customers, and then it will refresh the others. So you can do all those kind of cool interactive dashboards, which I'll let Eric handle there. But I'm going to go ahead and grab a chart here. So the first thing I do is I select the data source. That's my AL form 2, and showing my data there. So now I can go over here and I can say, okay, you know what I want is I'd like to get my meter readings and water tank levels. Oh, wait, nope, there you go. It's am I doing this one right? Wait, which did I do wrong? Wait, sorry, I'm rusty. Oh my gosh. Actually, you know what? Hold on a second here. I should probably turn off over to Eric right this time. Let's try this once more time. Let's do this right. Okay, so we got our data source. Okay, so let's go ahead and say water reading values and not location. Oh man, I must not have put good data in here. Hold on a second. It'll make more sense if I come to the new one. So let me go back to my other dashboards that I've created. I'm sorry, I'm kind of ruining the flow there, Eric. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, that's where you need a little bit there. Yeah, I must not put, it basically allows you to go through and set these up here. I'll come into the dashboard part in the next few minutes when I do the other side. But as you can see now, instead of me then, what's nice about these here is that, and I'll go ahead and just continue along here, is that once I've set up these dashboards can be then adjusted, edited. You could have multiple items on the same one. So for instance, I could have like an indicator here, and it would show a more like that kind of indicator here on the screen, and I could add this in here. Now, the other thing about that is once you've set this up, once you've done the technical part with the data, you can hand this over to an experienced, like an Excel level capability person, and they can be building their dashboards themselves. And I'm gonna come back and show that I can take these dashboards and integrate them into my system. I'd rather do that in the other pieces there. But I wanted to show you that it only takes a few minutes for me to hook up to some easy back-end transform information, and now I want to show Alpha Anywhere. And I apologize, I should have done a little bit more work to make sure this part comes here, but it's going to make more sense in a few minutes here. But as you can see, the heart of this is that all I had to do was create a data source here, and that data source in this case pulls back all this information here. And then it allows me to go ahead and do all then once I've got that data source. And again, what's really cool too, and this is very important, right now these are all web services, but I could pull some data directly from a database. I could pull it from an access table. I could pull it from these, and then I can combine, and Eric will talk about it, you can combine all these into singular dashboards so you can take data from multiple places. And again, it becomes a Excel kind of exercise versus a programming exercise. So you can get into those pieces there and be able to do that. But what I want to do is shift gears now and go back in and show how I can come in. And now instead of using Transform, I can use Alpha Anywhere to create a web service and pull back this data and show it operating in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. And then I want to go ahead and have Eric show you a little bit more about the dashboards, how beautiful they can be, and the pieces there on there. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and switch gears for a moment, if that's okay with everybody here. So first thing I'm going to do is what I want to do is show you that Alpha, now Alpha Anywhere. So one of the key things that ClicData does is one of their data sources is, for instance, if I add a new one of their data sources that are available is obviously SQL Server or MySQL or the databases. So you can go against it directly from the database. But the downside of that is, let's say your database structure changes over time. Well, if it does, then you're going to have to continually update these connections and this data, and the people will be gyrated, and that loses some of your flexibility to it. So as part of our year of the API, what we would rather do is, instead of exposing our database directly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Alpha to create a web service and then be able to hit that web service. So, and then what's nice about that is once I've done that, I can change that API at any time. So this is new, so bear with us as we go through this, and we haven't covered this before, but the way it works is the following. And let me go back to my notes right here, okay? In our case with Transform and ClicData called the regular Transform API to then perform pulling that data back in. And there's a published regular API. But with Alpha Anywhere, you need to build your own API service to accomplish the same. And we're going to do that in the next few minutes here. And the way that works, and this is more of a technical, deeper item, is that you build an Xbasic class, which is just basically Xbasic code that generates a set of data that can then be exposed through the API service. And this API service basically wraps this Xbasic class to be able to expose capabilities within Alpha in a secure way. And what's nice about that is that this Xbasic class not only can read and provide data, but through the API, you can actually call functions to say update data in the backend system. So it allows you that. So this is our introduce. We're going to dive into this a little bit more detail next week, but I want to kind of lay the groundwork because I want to get back into showing how I use it within ClicData and some of the power that goes with it. So the trick for how to do this is the first step you want to do is you build your Xbasic class. So it all starts with Xbasic classes. Then you wrap that class using a wizard, and then you deploy that to the server, and then you're ready to integrate it with third party. I want to note that today we won't be calling or talking about the security element of how to secure that, because it's a little bit more time than we have today, but we're going to cover that really quickly. So this is going to go through this process with no security. Obviously, when you build yours, you're going to want to add some security, and we'll go through that in more detail on the few ones. So I'm going to show you how I built an Xbasic class, I wrapped it, I deployed it to server, and we do that all within Alpha Anywhere. So the first step is you create your Xbasic class, okay? And there's templates. And again, we're going to come back and go into much more detail on that. So don't worry, we're going to step you through it really quickly. But in Alpha, an Xbasic class is just a series of functions that do things. So for instance, I have a class here called Alpha Customer Class, and that has a function called Customer List, which when you call this, it returns a set of JSON customer information. By the way, we build it in a certain way so that also we provide whether there's any errors in the information, a standard way to do that. And there's a standard structure. And again, we're going to come back and do that. I don't want to get too in the weeds on this. But as you can see, it's a very simple. So for this customer list, what it does here is it basically has a SQL query that selects all my information from the customer table, then takes that result and returns it as JSON. I created another one here called my dashboard class, where I'm returning a set of products by category. So I have a view in my database called products by category. And again, all I do is I select all the values of that, and it returns that information to that. And so it's basically very simple Xbasic doing queries against the database. In fact, with our new Genies, our Xbasic SQL Actions code generator, it actually generates all that code for you. And we're going to demonstrate from there. So I have two Xbasic classes. The first class is oriented around my customer stuff, and it has a command called return customer list. I have a second one called dashboard class, where I'm going to provide data for a dashboard. And there I can create a number of different functions that in this case would return products by category, etc. Now, before I get into the next step, I want to make sure you understand what's really cool about this is that I can go in and change all of this information, and even where I'm getting it from the database. And so long as I provide that result set in the same structure I did before, then anything I do in ClicData works. So for instance, let's say I created a new view that did some other special stuff. Well, I can now pull that data from that view, and as long as the result is similar, meaning maybe it has the same columns, but it gives you the flexibility to go in and modify how you collect and deliver that data in your class so that you can change it over time. Let's say you change your whole database structure, then you don't have to worry about modifying anything that's using that web service or API because you've kind of sheltered the person from that. So the first step is creating these classes, and you can fully test them within the system. In fact, I've got a little test case right here. So let me go ahead and look at that real quick. Where is my, where it is? Let's see. It's class, was it? Sorry, can't see anything here. There it is. So when I run this, I basically say I want a dashboard class, and then I want to get products by category, and you'll see what it does. It runs the query, and it provides back a set of JSON that has category name, beverage, product count, 12, etc. And that's all I'm doing is in a web service, what I want to do is provide back a set of JSON that will have this data to it. So it's very straightforward. Once you kind of get the hang of it, your classes are all going to kind of look the same way. It's going to gather some data and then return some JSON there. Now that's step one. We've got our class working, but then we need to go to our web services, and we actually need to create a web service, which basically all that does is wrap that class to then be able to be called by it. So I'll show you real quick. It's very simple. What you do is you click new. There's a button here called create new definition to create a REST service. You select the class. So this is my builder here. So the first thing I do is I select which class. Let's say it's dashboard class. And you'll see right here that I've got available methods. So I'm going to go ahead and expose that method as a service. So my class may have like 20 or 30 different methods, i.e. functions, and I can tell it I want to expose that particular method there, and it's called a get. And this is going to be the path that it's going to be using. And so now you'll notice that I have picked my Xbasic class. I've exposed what I want to do with that. And then I can actually live test that right here. Now, very important here, you'll see up on the right-hand side, and we'll come back and cover that. You can enable this called require authentication. So right now I could set this up. When I call it, it's not going to ask for any authentication, security. But if I click there, I can define my security, which we're going to cover, so that, for instance, like Transform, where I have to put in that API key, I have to have some way to tell the web service that I'm allowed to do that from there. So I'm going to cancel this real quick. And I want to go ahead and I'll open up one I've already created. And you can see, so I've selected my class, I've selected there. I'm going to actually live test that before I even go on my server. And you'll see it opens up to my page. And I'm going to go ahead and try this one. And I'm going to try it out. And I'm going to execute it. And you're going to see that here is the URL it called. Basically, it's my local server. It called this web service that it created with the function name products by category. And this is what came back in the body, which is my information that I want to provide to them. So as you can see, once you create that Xbasic, there's really no coding necessary. You basically wrap it and be able to, and you can even test it immediately within here. And in fact, I can go over here. Remember last week when I was talking about my Restlet? You'll see right here, I've gone ahead and pushed these up to my server. And so here is my URL. It's HTTP Giant Killer Demo demonstration, and then here's that dashboard service class, that class that's a service, and there when I click send, you'll see that it called here, and then the body of that information is right here. So the real quick, just as a recovery, is step one is create the Xbasic class. Step two, you use your REST API service builder to expose that and create basically this service, which is a very special little thing in alpha, and once that's available, then once that's on your server, you can go through there. And then again, we'll go through the security and other pieces there. So that's a real quick introduction. We'll come back to it. We'll do more details on it, but it shows you now, I now have a web service that I built. The only coding I had to do was my Xbasic class once I had that done. And by the way, once you've done one, doing the others are like copy, paste, edit, really simple. But the important thing is I'm bringing back this information is here. Okay. So now let's have some fun with this. So now I've created this service. And again, I didn't show it to you, but this is all local. I did a publish up to my server, so it's up on my server. So now I'm going to go into ClicData. And what I want to be able to do is what I want to do is create a data source that will call my web service to get that information. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here. I'm going to click data, and I'm going to create a new one. So this is very similar to what I did. I'm going to create a web service here. Okay. The base URL is Giant Killer Demo because I've done it before. It kind of remembers that. It's rest and get. So I'm going to do my endpoint here is demonstration there. So it's basically, if you look at this URL, it's the server name and then the actual sort of URL of where that data is there. So that's all I had to do in here was I said, here's my base URL, here's my endpoint, I'm using rest and get. And we'll talk about methods later on, post and put. More importantly, when you're like editing data, you're doing those things. But for our purposes right now, we're keeping it simple. So I click test. This just verifies that I was able to connect to my server and pull my data. But notice what happens next when I click next. ClicData goes out, it calls that service, and did I do this one right? Let's see. Wait. I think I have to do one other thing on my header. I think I missed one step. Sorry there. I had to tell it there's no security on there, so. Yeah. Bear with me. Okay. I'll just bring up my products by category, show you what it looks like here. Okay. Okay. So my query is that my demonstration, products by category, yeah, it just must add there. So test that. And let me go ahead and do a save. Okay. So now if I go in there, you'll notice that it called my web service. It knows the two different columns. So if we look at the actual data that comes back, you'll see it's a series of rows with a category name and a product count, which basically shows those pieces there. And so ClicData automatically analyzes this data and says, oh, here's a column of data, here's a column of data. So it looks like a spreadsheet to me once I've gone through these pieces here. So now I can go in here, I have my data that's available. Whenever I need to update this, I just click my refresh button and it'll do a reload of that information and I can automate that. Now let me do a dashboard that's a little more information that will be good. So now I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna create a new dashboard. And I apologize, Eric, I'm butchering your beautiful dashboard creation, but let me go products, dashboard. Okay, I click create. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put a chart in here. Let's go ahead and do this chart. Okay. Now I'm gonna select my data source, which is that products by category. It gives me a preview of the data. Now I can go in here and go, okay, the category name is here and the values are here. Looks a little better. I think I got it this time. And I can sit there and go, oh, you know what? I kind of want to by product count. What is my highest product count? So I'm going to go over to this sort and filter and I'm going to click sort here. And I'm going to say sort by product count. And you'll notice it immediately. Oh, I want it descending so it's on top. So as you can see, there's no technical requirement to understand how to do this. You could give this to an administrator, to a business analyst, someone like that, and they can use that there. I can go into the format area here, and I can say products by category, okay? And you'll notice I can update there and I can click save. And notice there's interactions where when people are clicking on things, you can have it click and drill down and do all those cool things here. So now I've got my products by category. That's looking pretty good. But you know, let's show that in a different way. So I'm going to add a pie chart. I'm going to select the same data. Okay. So I'm going to go values of product count and category name. There we go. And I'm going to go here to format and say pie chart. And I'll click save. Now I have a nice looking more of this, so I can go over here. And I'm barely scratching the surface on what can be done here. And this could be data from multiple sources. So now I have a very cool there. And so immediately, and Eric can kind of talk, there's different ways I can actually immediately save this, send it as a PDF. Also, ClicData has automation in there where it will like run this report each week and email it to people. But I also want to do one other thing and show you how cool ClicData is working with Alpha. So I built this here, but the reality is I kind of want them to stay within the alpha environment. So I want them, when they're building this, I want them to see this chart within my regular system. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Okay, I'm going to actually edit this, and I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go into this editor, and I'm going to go here to live link. This is super powerful. This is what really sold me in the end. So I'm going to click enable live link, and you'll notice it gives me a URL for this chart. So if I actually copy this URL, I'm going to go ahead and save that, and I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to paste that URL. Check it out. It goes against ClicData, and it shows that chart right in my web page. Boom, boom, done. Now, it's showing a header here, but that is controllable based on what plan you have. But the person can sit there and say, print this, and you can print it out. You could hear, and you can actually export this as a PDF. You could post this, you could comment on things like that. So I'm going to do one other thing, and I'm going to turn back over to Eric, show you a few more of the cool things here. I'm going to go back in here to my system here. I'm going to go to my A5 web components. I'm going to open up a pre-made item here. So here is a great example. So I'm going to go ahead and delete some stuff here, and you'll show this cool. So for people who are used to Alpha, you know, we have a panel layout with a header and 2 panel cards. So I'm going to go ahead and do a working preview, and you're going to see nothing exciting yet. So I have a header here, and then I have these 2 panels in here. Well, what I can do, which is really exciting, is I can take a panel card. I can change that to what's called an IFrame. So normally it's a default where you put components in it, but I'm going to click here and say IFrame, and I'm going to paste that URL that I just created on ClicData. So now check it out. I now have a dashboard where it actually integrates and shows it. In fact, let me go ahead and show this in my web browser. So now it can be inside my Alpha tabbed UI, dashboard, whatever it happens to be. And again, given the right plan, this could even be hidden so they wouldn't even know. And notice it has some cool, like when I click on it, it has behaviors here. You can click these things, and these click behaviors can be modified here. So now think about this, and this is, I'm going to wrap it up real quick. So with just a matter of a little effort to set up my web APIs and a little bit more work on the Alpha Anywhere than Transform, but once I have that, then everything I do from then on is point and click. It's like, yeah, I don't like that. I want this to be like right there. I'd like this to be like right there. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay, let's go ahead and refresh this. And you know what? It now looks like that. And what's powerful is that, and this was really what sold the end clients I was working with, is that they could do this work themselves. They didn't have to learn Alpha. They didn't have to learn all the other things. Once we set up the data models, they could go in and change this. They could add more things. They could add drill down capability, you name it. It's really cool stuff from there. But I could integrate it and make it part of Alpha, so it seemed like it was part of Alpha, and it worked out really good from there. So I'd like to take a moment here. I know there's some questions like probably coming together, but I do want to have Eric show you. See, I'm fairly challenged on dashboard creation. I obviously proved that with Transform, where I couldn't get my Transform dashboard to work. But I'd like to have Eric show a couple of the other really cool dashboards you can put together, and think about being able to excite your customers. And what's great too is, again, since you can white label, you can actually give the power to the customer to update their dashboards themselves without forcing it, or a lower level, someone who doesn't have all the skills. And it really opens up some unique opportunities. So I'm going to go ahead, and Dave, if you don't mind handing that over to
I would
Eric.
be happy to.
And then there's probably a lot of questions about ClicData. I'm going to have Eric handle those, but that kind of is the pieces there. So good. I see Eric. Over to you, sir.
Excellent. Eric, are you
Sorry
on
about that.
mute?
I was on. Yep. I apologize. Yep. I was over here talking to myself. And Dion, great job. Yes, thank you very much. And I am more technically challenged when it comes to the dashboard building myself. Being the director of sales and business development, I depend on my engineers and folks like you to go do the build outs. And I'm usually the dumbest guy in the room, but you did a great job. But I can definitely talk about the business side of things over here and kind of show you guys some nice examples. He had mentioned the automation portion of ClicData, which is phenomenal because you guys can set the frequency on emails whether it's going to go as a static dashboard, a PDF, a PowerPoint, or an Excel, the raw data. Some people still want to see that rather than being dynamic. But what I'm going to show you guys is all examples of a couple of different aspects of the live link on what you can also email, or your customers can go in and log into the ClicData platform, or if you guys white label it, it could be on your intranet or your portal and just truly have it be embedded via IFrame. This is a nice simple one I like, but it is very, very impactful at a corporate level. So you can see the energy, home production, field operations, customer operations, etc. At a quick snapshot, a CEO, CFO, CTO, anybody that needs to see where they're running at right here. Obviously, it's very, very clean, very simple. What I like is that, and this one doesn't work on here. I didn't know that before I came on here. I, again, should have probably tested a couple of these, but these are mock-ups.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
And I should have. I had my engineer send me over a couple of mock-ups that we've done recently that he really liked. But this is nice, and we utilize this because I have client bases, 2 different divisions. So my gauges here, instead of saying this year or this last month, it would say this is my total new MRR for the month. Or I can disinclude one client that's all based on a totally different division. So basically all of the gauges would change accordingly. And it makes it very easy and very actionable to be able to go run your business, see exactly where you're at, whether you wanted it a day over day, month over month, quarter over quarter, etc. Moving on to the next one. This is one that we did for pick, pack, and ship. Production manufacturer that makes customized Mustang parts. This was great because they really needed to know their downtime. If there's any belts or CNC machines or anything else that's downtime running, they needed to know their quality performance, their accuracy, their production rate, which also then helps their sales guys so that when their sales guys are selling them the parts, they know when they will be available or how long they're going to be on back order, etc. So that's pretty nifty. This is one of my favorite dashboards that we use during our demos. It's on our examples page on our website at ClicData.com. But this is phenomenal. Very, very simple, high-level overview, kind of more an executive type of dashboard. Wants to know where your top 5 sales regions are, what manufacturer they're selling the most of, basically how their yearly performance is. But what I really like about it is the tabs. So I can navigate to different panes just by the tabs, so you don't get one dashboard looking too cluttered. You're able to, like Dion had mentioned, you guys can drill down to where if you double click on this, it can spawn another dashboard, or it can go and in behind, and it'll pull up the raw data from the Excel type of flat file, which is very nice. But I really like this one because it keeps your dashboards very, very clean. And you can just navigate via the tabs or the buttons that are on the side. So it keeps everything looking very nice. But all the way down, from a CEO all the way down to just a sales rep or a customer service rep, you're able to basically see the entire business, whether it's dials and talk times for a sales rep, or how many tickets, customer service rep, or exactly what each portion of the business is doing. So if you need to have one-on-ones, or if you guys need to make a little zig or a zag within the business, you're not doing it 30 days later by measuring last month's data and then talking about it this month and still having another month to roll into making those actionable changes where you've now lost 60 days. You guys are up to the day, so hopefully you guys are able to truly hone in on that return on investment, manage your business more efficiently, which should hopefully make everybody more profitable and efficient, right? Kind of the game plan of what ClicData is here for. We want to make sure that all the businesses, go ahead.
Oh, can you just change down below the date ranges down below? Show them that. That's something really cool.
This one right here?
No, down below at the bottom.
Oh, perfect. That's so this one isn't set up like that, where I can grab that and zoom in on it, which is pretty nice. So I can go all the way there, just down to September. You can go month over month. What I really like here is these ones as well, Dion. So basically, you can, whether it will be by product or by sales rep or by customer, however you guys are managing your business, you guys are able to go in here and you can put a type fill type of drop down, or have all of the businesses. You could have them all selected, or you can have to choose each individual one. But then you're able to go measure it off of any date that you guys are looking to go do. So truly actionable to where you're not having to go through 100 different Excel spreadsheets or wherever your data may be housed to go try to find that. This is very quick, very actionable, and as long as we have the historical data within ClicData, it's always at your fingertips, which is a beautiful thing.
And the ability, the technical capability of a person to pull that off is like an Excel user, not a programmer. So they can go in and create these kind of dashboards with a little bit of training and experience, and they pick it up very quickly. So those behaviors and things like being able to do filters and stuff like that within the system. So you can offload it to
Yep.
that.
100%. Yep, that's exactly right. You definitely don't need to be a data scientist or an engineer to be able to utilize ClicData like you had showcased with the drag and drop functions. Once the data is laid out, you can literally just go drag and drop it, kind of poke around, play around. But they also have you guys to lean on, and you have ClicData to lean on. So we would like to be able to get it set up to where it's set it and forget it. But anybody really that can use Excel can use ClicData, and then anybody who's going to be the true end user via the clients or your employees of the organization, if they can use Outlook Calendar or anything else like that, or Google Email, they'll be able to go utilize the actual reports and be able to take advantage of the data that you guys are collecting. The last one that I'm going to show here was just something that we did for fun because our corporate office is in France. We have a lot of race car fanatics all over the country and the world. We have a division in Canada, a division in the United States, and a division in France. But we built this one just so that everybody can keep an eye on the Formula One racing season. So it's pretty cool. But again, so you guys are able to navigate whether kind of what you guys want to do, what number you guys want, if you want to sort it by number, position. The geo mapping is really kind of a nice feature. We can get all the way down to a county level. Depending on what you guys would like to measure, be it marketing campaigns or where your customer subset is at. Pretty nifty, but I just kind of wanted to showcase this just so that it's not all about business. It could be a little bit of fun. And again, this one is something that it actually didn't even come from our team. It came from an intern who's not a data scientist, but we wanted to see what they could build. And they came out and built this just for something fun so that we had something to blog about and to show the ease of use. So
Cool.
that's
Cool.
basically it. Yeah, that's basically ClicData kind of in a nutshell. Definitely happy to field any questions if we want to have a Q&A. I'm not sure how much more time we have, Dion, but
Obviously some people need to drop off, but we allocate a little more time. A couple things is that there's a Zapier, so you can use Zapier to kind of interact with it, much like we're doing with Transform. But if you can go back, talk about I would like to have you talk about the automation, because inevitably people need to be doing like weekly data updates and transmission to people.
And that's perfect.
I thought was another cool feature.
Yes, and I definitely wanted to touch on that because we talked about embedding in the true white label. The automation process, so each one of these visualizations, when he was showing you guys how you set up to the data connection, you're able to set up the schedule or frequency. Not every KPI needs to be updated up to the minute or 5 minutes or even every day. You may have some that only need to be updated every quarter for the board. But you're able to set the frequency on each KPI that you're visualizing on how often you would like that updated, which is a really nifty feature so that you're getting the most up-to-date and relevant data that you see fit for measuring your business. The integration with Zapier was huge. We were very happy to partner with them. They were very happy to partner with us along with Smartsheets as well. But Zapier is cool because even if you don't have a set schedule frequency for your data or for the dashboards, Zapier will basically, like Zapier ping Dion via text that he just set up a new data source. If you have Zapier integrated, anytime you guys make a change within the data set, Zapier will go tell ClicData to go ping the data set so that nobody ever has to remember to go refresh it, or you're not necessarily setting a scheduled frequency on that. It's literally happening real time. So something gets changed, the dashboard automatically gets changed because of the automation with Zapier, or the integration with Zapier rather. And then the email function, I think, is a huge thing. I like to do it to my sales managers and my sales reps. They get 3 emails a day, just kind of on where they're at, so that if we do ever have to have a one-on-one, or if I'm talking about our business where we're at for the day, there is no surprise, which it makes our meetings much more actionable because they obviously got updated 3 times within a day on where they're at with dials, talk times, invoices, demonstrations, etc. If they're lacking in one portion, they already know when I come to them to speak to them, they already know what reason they're going to give me or what I'm going to be asking about, if that makes sense. So it makes the collaboration of the team much more unified because of the automation within ClicData. So that's a huge feature for me.
Along with that, also, they have a web API, so you can actually use Alpha to interact, not only to load data and stuff, but to perform other things within the ClicData platform. So behind the scenes, your Alpha solution can be talking to ClicData and saying, oh, I need this updated dashboard, this, that, and there. So that's maturing very rapidly also. It was really cool. So you can create this very kind of two-way street environment between the two, and the user never needs to know, oh, this is ClicData, this is Alpha. It just looks all the same. It's all part of
I'm
the
happy
same.
you mentioned that. I didn't want to put my big fat foot in my mouth because we're still in development, and I know we're making great progress, but I didn't want to mention it if you didn't want to kick that off. But yeah, and that's great. And another huge part of the automation also is you guys are able to set thresholds on where your business should be or which KPI you guys are measuring. So I'm just going to use sales because that's obviously what I do. But if we're 3 weeks through the month and I'm 105% to goal, you can go craft the body of an email and send a kudos email out to the team like, holy cow, guys, we still have 7 or 9 days left in the month and we were already 105% to goal. Keep crushing it. That's great. Or vice versa, right? If we're three quarters away through the month and I'm only 25% to goal, I'm going to have to be explaining that to my VP and my CEO. So there will be an email like, hey, I need an update. Where are we at? What do we have in the pipeline? But those emails go out automatically and you're able to set the thresholds on what you need. Or, hey, the marketing piece isn't going as well, or we're not doing this. Or if you need to put your eyes on it just to make a little tweak or a change on it, or at least just to put your eyes on it so that you're aware of it, you're able to automate that as well, which is a huge feature within ClicData.
Thank you, Eric.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and open up for any questions real quick. I want to make sure. I know some people are dropping off, which is okay. I know they have time commitments, but any questions that might be able to help?
There are questions, some of which have already been answered. For example, can you drill down on data from the dashboards? And yes, you can. And also, how would you embed ClicData into, say, a tabbed UI in Alpha Anywhere? And it turns out there's just simply a link, and you put that in as an iframe, for example, UX component.
Yeah.
So those were the easier questions. Now let's get into the harder ones. First of all, a couple of people seem quite interested. They're interested in pricing. What does the pricing model sort of look like for this, either white labeled or not? Transparent pricing. I like that when you actually show the prices.
Yes,
that was another reason I was drawn to these guys. And you can
100%.
And you can
go ahead.
You can build over time. You don't get jammed out of the gate. You know, it's like, okay, I can start small, and then as I need more features and get adoption, I can move up the chain. And even when I move up the chain, it's incredibly valuable. Yeah, this is a great value.
It is, yeah. So when people ask us what's the differentiators with ClicData, I say number one, our team, our customer support team and our sales team, just the customer service. And we're here to be a true partner. We're not just a vendor. We literally are a partner. We're here. We're great consultants. And we're nimble enough to always make sure that all of our clients are getting the most out of it. If they need a special request, we're not afraid to go develop stuff, especially if we get many requests for it. But pricing is a big one compared to our competitors. We are for as robust as the system can do. There's not much stuff that other competitors can do that we can't do. Other than the companies that are charging 60, 80 grand to go get that developed, which we could do that as well. It's just not our wheelhouse, not what we like to do. We're priced very, very reasonably for the robustness of the tool. But we pride ourselves on transparency. So there's not a single thing or an add-on when it comes to pricing that you cannot find on our website, to where if you go do research with some of the competitors, it can be going down a rabbit hole or trying to figure out what the actual pricing will be. And as Dion had mentioned, we will never put you in a plan that you don't need to be in. To start with, we don't mind if you start off at the premium or even the basic, if you can get away with just an Excel and then the social media for marketing teams. Sometimes that works for small bouquet marketing firms. Most of our guys, because of them hooking up with you guys, Zapier, Oracle, SQL, MySQL, et cetera, or using any one of our many APIs, they would start at premium, and then they add users as they see fit till they hit the tipping point. Then it makes sense to go to the team because the price per user drops, and usually when you're adding that many more users, the refreshes and the data storage will go up as well. But the premium, the white label feature that we were talking about, that starts at the Premium Plus, which is not published. It is published here. Let me go show you here. But it's basically just double the premium plan. So if you take the premium plan, which is $59 a month, if you pay annually, which is $708 a year, if you double that, you're able to take advantage of the white label to basically make it an OEM product. But if you guys go here, there's basically anything you guys could have on questions about pricing or whether the connectors are available, etc. It's here, and it's very, very transparent, very easy to read, and you guys can get a good use case and a roadmap on how you would utilize ClicData, and you guys should be able to do a nice cost analysis just by taking a quick peek at our pricing page. Was there a specific question on pricing other than just kind of a general overview?
Pricing, and then the other, and although you talked about some of the elements of how do you compare to other types, other competitors, Power BI, of course, is the one that people are very familiar with, but I'm sure there are others as well.
Yes, and I'll use them because it's the most unique situation that I've been in as a director of sales. We are on the Microsoft Azure platform. We are very heavily involved with Microsoft, and they love ClicData for the innovative nature that we have and the stuff that we develop. And they will go use some of the stuff that we use, and in turn, they will be very nice to us for what they do, allowing us and hosting us on the Azure platform. However, that being said, I compete against them head-to-head every day, so it's a very unique situation for me because we talk, we have meetings, we do a lot of nifty stuff together, and we still compete. We are very, very close in product. Ours is more robust. We connect to more. We're also cheaper. When it comes to pricing, our licensing is very different than not just Power BI, but Tableau, Domo, Looker, Sisense, Grow, all of the competitors. We let you distribute the licenses how you see fit. So there's no such thing as like a price increase for an admin license. On the premium plan, it comes with 10 user licenses. If you wanted to have 10 admins, you can have 10 admins. Or you could have 4 admins and then 6 editors and viewers, and then the editor and viewer, they're only able to go edit or build on certain data sets that you give them access to, and then the viewers obviously are only viewers. So that's where we beat everybody in pricing, and again, it's just a robustness of the tool. Really nothing that we can't go out and do that our competitors can do. And again, it's our team and how quickly you guys can get a hold of our support division, sales division, and the entire organization. If there is a problem, if you need help, if there's a new initiative, et cetera, that's where we really shine.
Great, excellent. This one is more for Dion. Let's say you had a desktop application and you wanted to use ClicData along with it. What would be the answer to that? Like, for example, QuickBooks. Sounds like you could use Alpha Anywheres with and have it supply an API, but there might be another way to do it too.
They may have a native connector. You'd have to ask Eric there, but if I think QuickBooks Online for sure.
Online for sure, but what about?
But you could use, for instance, in that situation, if you had a desktop, what you could do is Alpha has there's a third-party connector from it's QODBC. So
BC, I was just going to say, yeah, but I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's exactly what we do for QuickBooks on or the desktop version. We use QODBC as well.
Yeah, and ODBC is one of their data sources. But if you wanted to do something more special, Alpha could actually grab the data out of QuickBooks, massage it, and then put it into ClicData if you need to do something more interesting than just straight from that data.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the beautiful thing about our partnership is what you guys can do on the front end. And then ClicData, because we're all cloud products, it works on any OS. So whether you're on a phone, tablet, laptop, as long as you have internet access, ClicData will auto resize and fit to be on any device that you guys want to utilize.
Very cool. So it looks like we've come through the list of questions. Is there anything else anyone would like to add before we close for today?
Just on my part, we're going to go into deeper dive on how to publish APIs, and the other pieces I just kind of did a top level because I really wanted to focus on a sort of an innovative way to create value, meaning using Alpha and ClicData together, leveraging the power of both of them. Alpha's transactional in nature. ClicData is a great BI tool. So, and it worked out really good for the end clients because they got the benefit of flexibility but it all looks like one nice, neat system. It's very, very slick.
That's fantastic.
And that's the ticket, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And I love what you guys are doing in our partnership as well. Because yes, when it's all one nice, because the average business is using at least 5, if not sometimes 10 different pieces to go measure their business. So to be able to have everything in one nice sweet spot is a huge value add to any business on the planet.
That's great. Well, Eric, thank you very much for your presentation. Dion, thank you as well. Sarah, we didn't get to you today, but we will get to you next session. She has some cool stuff to show off. Also has to do with charting and with the API, and it's an Alpha Anywhere example. So everyone who attended, thank you very much. Thanks for those of you who asked questions, and we look forward to seeing you in next Wednesday's webinar. Take care.
Yes, thank you guys for the invite. We appreciate it, and have a good day, everybody.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.